Standing out in the middle of these beautiful woods this morning. About 8:30 in the morning. It's supposed to get up to almost 100 degrees today, which for here is pretty darn hot for June. I am on the lookout for box coral, Artomyces pyxidatus. It's this beautiful little mushroom. It looks like a fairy castle, grows straight up basically out of logs. I usually see it out of logs that have fallen and have been there for a little bit. It looks like they got a little bit of rot on them. And boy, you don't see them very often out here in this forest. I had a log a few years ago that would regularly produce it. I'd look forward to getting some, cooking it up every year. But this year, I want to go ahead and get myself a sample of it. I want to get a clone. I want to see if I could start playing with it in the lab. See what we can do with a little bit of box coral. Beautiful mushroom, edible, lovely, grows readily on wood. I don't know why more people aren't cultivating it, so I'm gonna give it a shot. One thing that's making this more difficult, you see that white fungus down there? Oh, that jelly fungus is just everywhere. I'm seeing it all over these logs, and it's the same color as that box coral, basically like an ivory white. So I'm looking around for this stuff and I'm seeing that same color everywhere. So the trick about this is to look for the horizontally growing jelly fungus versus the box coral that's basically growing straight up from a little stem. Same color, same kind of shape when you're like 30 feet away or so, but get up close you can really tell. I think the difference, how you could tell from a little bit further away, is you're looking down and all these jellies are horizontally growing. So I'm going to try to keep that in mind. Here's one that's cool. Check this out. This is the cloud ear fungus. It's got a little bit of Virginia creeper around it, and I'm kind of sensitive to that, so I'm going to try to stay away from that. But I am going to get myself a nice sample of this because, frankly, I don't recall seeing this one out here before. I've taken a little bit different path today, and it's paying off. And there's a bunch of new ones coming out. Check that out. Aren't those pretty? And those are just fruiting anywhere you got a little crack in the grain, anywhere it opens up a little bit and gives a little bit more advantage to the developing fungus is where they burst out. Alright, time to start collecting. I'm happy I got my samples. So I always bring along my little lunch sacks. So I've got small baby ones I've cut off in here, and those are going to make a really nice culture to start on agar. And I took some of the bigger ones here just for a little further identification. I'm pretty sure what they are, but hey, you never know. tree got struck by a lightning up there. Even now, there's fungal activity. There's something. It's random charcoal. It's some sort of ceramic crust fungus, maybe? Tough things. There's a microorganism out there that'll eat anything, though. Charcoal, wood. Beautiful here, but not having very much luck finding this box coral. Well, I'm back in the van. I can't find any box coral out here today. I tell you what, I went all around the area where I saw that log from years past, and the log just got covered up by undergrowth and turned into mud, apparently, because I honestly can't find the original. I'm going to move to another area of this park. All right. More of Kankakee River State Park. Here I come. This is a neat one. Check this out. Anyway, check this out. Look at those little beauties. Those fairy fingers are inedible, but really pretty. In fact, oh God, I can't remember where I read it a while back, but I read that the oak that was harvested, or rather the wood that was harvested to make these Stradivarius violins was possibly colonized by fairy fingers. So they could be partially responsible for some of the tonality in some of the world's most revered musical instruments. So, you know, I'm just out here looking for mushrooms like anybody else in the forest. Anyway, I have this business I started called Mushroom Man of Peatone. I sell mushroom kits and tinctures and a couple how-to guides and so on. And you know, the reason why I started all this is not because I'm like this awesome mushroom expert, or at least it certainly was not at the time. It was more like I started it because, you know, I had enough skills to be able to do something I really liked, make some money at it, help some people grow mushrooms, you know, and it was nice. And as I've gotten more experience over the years, you know, I've applied that experience right back into all the stuff that I do, and you know, now I'm making mushroom kits at a pro level. You know, I've got great mushroom tinctures still, and a how-to guide on how to grow mushrooms on logs and other stuff. And anyway, it all started by taking the leap. You know, I had learned just enough to be able to produce reliable results, and you know, I put those to work. And every time you make mushrooms, every time you do mushroom cultivation indoors, outdoors, you know, you gain a little bit more experience. It's I think it's important to get out there and just do as much as you can. Try it in as many different methods as you think you might be interested in, because you know, mushroom cultivation isn't a field just for experts. It's amateur science, and there's a lot about mushrooms out there that people don't know. There's a huge number of species that have just never been identified yet, and professionals can't get out there and collect them all and identify them all. You know, an amateur could get out there and identify a new mushroom species, and it's something that you can't necessarily achieve in a lot of other hobbies or areas of interest, what have you. You know, so the fact that this is opened up to amateurs, and there's so many paths for people to become really knowledgeable and skilled at different areas of mycology, applied mycology like growing mushrooms, or just, you know, taxonomy, being able to identify mushrooms, or, you know, there's so many things you can do. Different mycology, dealing with agricultural crops and stuff, you know, and it all starts in the forest. You know, walking around looking for mushrooms. You start with just a few that you know. It's kind of like Pokemon, you know, and you start by just collecting the few that you know. You identify the heck out of them using a mushroom key, and work your way up from there. Do the things that you're interested in. Give yourself that space, and you never know what's going to blossom. You know, years later, I'm still doing this. Every time I come out to the forest, there's like a reason for it. There's a skill challenge. There's a goal. You know, there are multiple goals. Today, I'm out here looking for box coral. I'm currently trying to capture or cultivate as many native species that would make good cultivars as I can find. So that all stemmed from just walking around looking for mushrooms, adding a little bit onto it every year, doing a little bit more and a little bit more. Oh, there's some more. Either fairy fingers or dead man's fingers. They're not just coming up singles, probably fairy fingers. A few of them are a little bit clustered, but I'm just seeing these guys pop up all over the place. So it's fantastic weather for mushrooms, clearly, but where's my box coral? I'm not finding it yet.